Now let's talk about fabric. When I'm pulling fabric, I like to think of it as hosting a party. And when you host a party, you want to have A, the right kind of food, B, the right kind of drinks, and most importantly to me, the right mix of people. So when you're pulling your fabric, think about that, having the right mix of fabric. Dig deep into your stash, break apart all those collections that you're hoarding, and create the best bundle yourself. So what I do is I like to start out with my hero print, and that's the print that's going to ground the rest of the decisions that I make. This is, I would like to say, maybe your hors d'oeuvres, if you will, when you're hosting your party. You're going to start with that, and then you're going to build onto that. And in this example here, there's lots of great color range, and that's going to be the starting point, the jumping off point for how I pick the rest of the fabrics. So for example, in this collection, there was this great gold dot and pink colored fabric. I probably wouldn't put this with it, and this is probably one of those guests that you won't invite to your party simply because they probably won't get along with anybody else. And so we'll just throw that one out. Maybe next I would look at some solids, and this is a good blender, and this is a good example of a friend who would come to the party and blend in well with everyone else. They're going to talk to everyone, they're going to meet and greet everyone. You won't have to worry about this person. There's also some good contrast here. Maybe they're an interesting person, maybe they're into arts and theater. They're a good conversation starter. So this contrast is really nice off of my first print that I chose. Then I want to add in some interesting scale. And again, this can be maybe your friends of different ages that you invite to your party. So for example, we might pull in this white and gold card print. Again, a great balance between the contrast of the navy and the contrast of the first print you started. So this looks like a good choice here. Good balance, good mix. Then, I always like to throw in a stripe. This is kind of your wild card, stripes are. They're kind of fun. You never know which direction you're going to get. This is your friend who, could be wild and crazy, but then could be super mellowed out at your party as well. So you want to have that in there as well. This is maybe a good mix. The pinks to me aren't really the same, and maybe the contrast isn't that great, but I might add it in anyway and maybe edit it out toward the end. You can always get rid of this invitation as well. Let's look at this mix here. So let's start with the floral. This will be my introduction, this will be my hors d'oeuvres, this will be maybe the first person that I invite to the party, and then I have to think about who this person's going to get along with. And again, we're going to look at scale and color. So maybe we'll start with this hashtag print. It's a good balance of the background. There's a good mix of the whites together. I'm kind of picky about making sure all of my whites match. So this looks like a good starting point. Then let's pick some friends that will go along with these two. Maybe this is a good blender print here. Again, the same whites are there, the scale is different. It's not the same scale as the floral. I mean, it kind of is, but not really. So that'll give some good interest and contrast to your project. And then again, adding in a stripe. This is sort of a loud stripe. The pinks feel really nice next to each other. It gives it some contrast. It's not super bright and super loud, and it plays well with the turquoises and the mints that we're pulling in here. And then finally, you're going to invite that one friend who's the loudest friend. She's the messiest friend. She'll probably leave the party the last. And this text print feels like that friend. She's going to get along with everyone, but she's going to be loud and crazy. She might take away from the rest of the prints in your project, but that's okay. It's still kind of fun and interesting. And the one thing that I haven't added in here is a solid. Totally up to you. Solids are great, but if you're going to go to a party, you don't want everybody to be a solid, even though that's kind of a thing right now. But I probably wouldn't do the project we're going to do today all in solids. Maybe, maybe not. But it's kind of fun to have some nice prints in there. So let's look and see if these go in here together. Good tonal to the turquoise and mint. A good balance with the starting off point fabric. And then it feels pretty nice with the stripes. It's kind of fun and interesting, sort of like a little bit of a zinger color. Good contrast, similar to the navy that we picked in this first group. And then let's look at this pink. Pink feels really nice off of the first print that we chose. Works well with the mints and the turquoise, but doesn't necessarily mix with this pink of this stripe. The contrast is there, but I probably wouldn't use it in this project only because I love the contrast of these darker florals and this stripe. So I would probably throw this one out, or maybe I would see if it would work well with this one. Kind of does, kind of doesn't. So I can get rid of that one. We're not going to invite them to the party. So there we go. We've picked our fabrics. Next, we're going to talk about how to make the quilt block.